Hi.
Hello. Hi, Vridhi.
Hello. So, good evening, everybody. Today we have a on optimizing performance this exam season. I'm Vridhi. I'm the co-founder at MentorMitr, and that's Ankur, also the co-founder. So, Ankur, would you like to commence?
Yes, of course. So I'd like to enlighten everyone with the topic of today's session. It's optimizing performance this exam season, and we'll be covering the different factors that contribute to facilitating to our academic journey. So with that, we'll be starting with the session. I hope you all are ready. So the first question for you, Vridhi, is it's nearly just 1 month to examination. What do you think is the biggest challenge that students are facing?
I personally think that the biggest challenge that students tend to face is of effective time management because while they're preparing for their academic journey and for their performance, of course, they fail to prioritize the important tasks and the subjects that are really crucial to be prepared in the journey. Procrastination is, of course, a factor that constitutes to the ineffective time management. And the other factor that kind of comes under it is pandemic, which is sort of restricted our mobility in terms of physically with teachers, our peers, mentors, and so on. So, of course, that's a factor as well. And I think students tend to often undervalue their time, so they end up negating the important aspects that consider effective time management and their nerve to function all in all.
Mhm. Okay, so they have to manage their time and like know at this time that actually this time is very important. So,
Of
what do
course.
you think they like on the day-to-day basis? What are the other factors that are affecting students? Like the factors. Yeah.
Okay. So other factors could broadly include our environment, which is, of course, which incorporates our parents, our study routine at home, and everything that's around us. Um, but I'd like to particularly talk about the negative peer pressure, which has an unhealthy impact on one performance.
Yes.
So,
We have.
when negative pressure comes up, I think that students and peers and friends in particular, they end up projecting their fears, their anxieties, and their concerns regarding academics or a particular concept or any particular subject as well, one another, which is not good because it hampers one's academic performance all in all. And it can also become a source of distraction or discouragement, which disrupts the emotional and mental state of an individual. And of course, it also disrupts the preparation all in all. So, on a
Totally.
daily basis, when we interact with people who are probably unhealthy for us or who are not directly helping us achieve the goals that we set for ourselves, um, I think that's one factor that affects students on a daily basis. And the second factor that comes into view is a lack of clarity as to where we're going. So, a lack of goals, clarity of goals, and a lack of direction. So, the thing is that when we have these particular goals, we put in the required efforts and we can predict outcomes based on the current performance. But if we don't set goals for ourselves and we don't put in the required efforts, we can't predict our outcomes. We can't keep a tab on the
True.
highs and lows of our performance and end up anywhere, or we can't expect ourselves to predict the academic outcomes or scores that we have set for ourselves. So I think that's the second factor, the lack of clarity of goal and direction. These are the two things that kind of affect a daily routine and life.
Yeah, taking that negative peer pressure into point that like even apart from academics that is affecting a lot of people nowadays. I feel even after academics, even after school, college, that is affecting a lot of people in our society. I feel that's a very important thing to consider. Yeah, it's true, right, Pratik? So like let's come to like the dealing part. How can we deal with this? What do you think?
Um, I, the first step would be to realize that negative peer pressure is affecting us and that we don't have these goals set for ourselves. So we can stay away from people or from things that serve as a source of discouragement or that hamper our academic all in all. So as I mentioned that it can manifest in the form of a negative peer pressure. I would say that stay away from people who hamper your academic performance. Don't associate with those who directly or indirectly contribute to the growth or to helping you achieve those particular goals that for yourself. And the second way that you can go about this is to take some time off social media, because when we're on social media, we tend to focus on what others are doing. We become attuned to having these specific behaviors, actions, and thoughts, and following what others are doing. We really look into how they're going about their daily schedule and routine. So that's really uh, that can hamper one's performance, and I think it should be toned down. We should not use social media so much. And the third thing to do is reach out to the relevant people, make an entourage. By entourage, I mean a team of people who support you in your academic performance, or people who kind of push you to give your best and do your best. So this can include your teachers, your mentors, your professors also for that matter, and they can help you seek some clarity as to where you can go with your goals, or where you can go with the academic scores that you have set for yourself, while you can also sort of overcome negative criticism that you may have incurred or faced from any peer, any friend for that matter. And I think that mentors, teachers, and professors, I think Ankur dropped off. Just a minute, guys. I'll just add him again. Talking about the impact of social media, and of course, like the entourage I briefly spoke about. So, yeah, reaching out to the people who help you in your development areas is really important. So, one way to deal with this, or another way to deal with this, is to connect with the right people, associate with them, and let them help you. Let them give you the right kind of assistance to proceed in the course of your academic journey. All right. So that's all I had to say. Anything you'd like to add, Ankur? Um, I can't hear you.
Uh, Vridhi, am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible. It's pretty clear now.
Okay. So, my next question for you is how to overcome self doubt on daily basis.
Okay, so that's something that's common to all. We'll have self-doubt irrespective of whether we're preparing for our academic journey or not. That's absolutely fine. And but I think that provided you put in the right kind of efforts, time, and have the kind of patience to assess what you're doing, that's really important in the process. And of course, I'll get down to it. By that, I mean that you have to effectively manage it, figure out your priorities, get down to actually doing the things that you've set for yourself. And as I mentioned before, talk to people and engage with people who can serve as a source of your encouragement, or who can encourage you to do better, who remind you why you are the way you are and how much of potential you have to achieve the best.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, So, when I say that we should engage with our teachers and professors, that's something I've done throughout my school life, even up till 12th grade. I've been in touch with my teachers. I'm still in touch with my professors. And
Mm-hmm.
I have so many subject related queries and doubts and concerns. So I think students should remain in touch with their teachers, and they should ask the nitty gritty doubts or details of any particular concept or subject related concern that they have, and they should take it up, with their teacher. And other than that, seeking professional mentoring can also help one realize that, get down to working towards the specific, um, goals that they've set for themselves. Other than that, it's really important to trust ourselves because that's something we don't do, even if we're putting in the required amount of effort or we're giving our best. We don't, and like we don't trust ourselves enough to know that we are already doing enough, and it's
Yeah, that
good
happens
that
sometimes.
we're on the right path, and,
Mm-hmm.
regardless. And the outcomes that you have expected, or the outcomes that you expect of yourself, they can be achieved because you're already doing enough. And the last thing that I'd like to talk about is reinforcement of positive affirmations. I think writing down positive affirmations or speaking those out loud in the mirror or to yourself, just while you're sitting on the bed or while you're even studying for that matter, they can really help. So this is something I've broadly touched upon, of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
That's what I
so
had to add.
that point, Vridhi, of like working hard irrespective of the result, irrespective of thinking about the result. That was really great. And the affirmations point, I personally do that every day. I really like it. Uh, so, Vridhi, yeah, like you mentioned, like having a good direction is very important. So, my next question would be around that, like how to keep a focus on your goal and stay on course. How can a student do that?
Okay, so that's a Herculean task. I think that's really hard to achieve when you have to come down to actually doing it. So yes, I would say that it's still possible, despite it being a Herculean task, because the nature of preparation is just that we will have our set of peaks and troughs. We will have the down days that people tend to talk about, and we will have the good days as well. So, those peaks and troughs that I'm talking about, these, this, you have to realize that this is going to be, every day is not going to be the same. And this is just going to be the nature of your preparation. So, just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean that you can't look forward to another good day or to doing more the next day if you haven't done enough today. So,
I
then that this is just the course of your journey and it doesn't determine whether you'll be able to achieve what you have set for yourself or not. But of course, your efforts count. And if you put in even the bare minimum, that will take you a long way. And again, I think I'd like to uh, cover something that I spoke about briefly previously. Uh, Setting those right goals and putting in the efforts, knowing the predictable outcomes, that is how we know that the course of our journey is going to get us somewhere. So I think that's something that we've experienced personally, and I would really like students to know that they can definitely stay on course and focus on their goals. And the second thing that they can do is write down those affirmations that I spoke about previously. So
Mhm.
by affirmations, I mean that, okay, for example, you're not good at a particular subject, or you have these conceptual queries and doubts that you'd like to resolve. So figure it out, figure out what your development areas are. Uh, Take those up with your teachers, your professors. Tell them, okay, these are these areas that I'd like to work on, and I really feel that I've done well in other subjects. I don't want this subject to fall or to bring me down in any way possible.
Mhm.
So take those up with your teacher. Know that it's not impossible to get good grades even in a subject that you're not good at, because most of the time it's just again because of self doubt that we
Yeah,
tend,
totally.
and a lack of
Mhm.
practice, a lack of knowledge how
It
to
happens.
practice well. Of course, yes.
Mhm.
um, so yes, write those affirmations, take up those development areas, people or even seniors for that matter. I think seniors played a major role in my academic journey as well. So they can help you out, your teachers, professors, and the affirmations. Maybe you can tell yourself, okay, so I'm going to get good at this subject now. It's going to take some time, and I'm going to put in the efforts to get the outcomes that I wish to fetch. So,
So yeah, I really like the way you told like how to write affirmations daily and how to practice them in order to be better day by day. That was really great, Priti. I guess that they were all the questions that I had. If any of you have any questions, you can like type in the chat box and I'll ask Priti, of course.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
anyone has any questions, you can come up.
Anything you guys wish to ask, of course, we can take it together.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Just tarry a moment or two and then.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Yeah. I don't think anyone is asking any questions.
Guys, feel free to ask. We're here to answer.
Exactly. And I'm here to ask. Vridhi is here to answer. Of course. I don't think no questions are coming. Vridhi.
Okay.
So I'd like to thank you, of course, for being a part of today's live, and thank you so much for answering all the questions. They were really helpful. Me personally is taking a lot from this. I hope everyone is taking some insights. Okay, there is a question. Like I asked you already. Sneha wants to ask again. How to overcome self doubt? I guess you can answer it briefly for her.
Okay, I mean, of course, I don't mind repeating. So I think, the first step is to trust yourself. You're already doing enough. The fact that you're getting up every day to do even the bare minimum, that's well and,
Mhm.
well. And knowing that you're already driven to do something or to achieve certain outcomes, I think that can help you overcome the self doubts that you have. And honestly speaking, self doubts, as I mentioned earlier, they are going to come up irrespective of whether you're preparing for your academic or not. So, they come up in life with respective self esteem and self confidence. So, one way to overcome self doubt and to boost your self esteem and self confidence is to realize the development areas, as in the personal ones. Now, I'm not talking about the academic ones that are hampering your growth, all in all, and they hamper your academic success as well. So, figure those out. Sit down with yourself. Tell yourself that what others expect of you is not something that you have to always fulfill, but your expectations of yourself is something that you must sit down with and overcome and talk yourself through.
You're right. You're right, Priti. Trusting ourselves is the one of the most important things, and knowing what we have to do, having a direction. Like the question I asked is a very important thing. I hope, Sneha, we were able to answer you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that answer. If anyone else has any question, we can wait for one more minute, and then we will wrap up with you. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
I don't think anyone is asking any question. People are joining though, but they're not asking any question.
No problem. So I guess we'll
That's
take off.
interesting. Yeah, so I guess you answered all the questions, and people don't have any questions. They have taken a lot for today. So thank you so much, Priti. Thank you so much for being a part of today's live.
Thank you.
Sneha says thank you. Uh,
Thanks.
so that will be it. I already said thanks a lot. So thank you so much, Priti. We'll be wrapping up the session here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of today's live. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.
That brings us to the end of our session. Bye, everyone.
Bye.